Yo, 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 what's up? What's up? What's up? This is your man, That's the Great, checking in once again. Let's get straight to it, man. Got a great topic tonight, and I'm surprised that I haven't actually spoken about this previously, seeing as at this point, this movie is, I believe, going towards being a year old. So I'm really happy that I did not previously speak on this movie because now we're in award season with the Oscars, or the Golden Globes were just a couple weeks ago, and now we're in award season with the Oscars coming up very soon. The nominations are out, and now I get to um, broach a few different topics regarding this movie that is now receiving so much buzz and acclaim. Well, not acclaim just yet, I guess, seeing as the awards haven't actually been given out yet, but it's well, let's just get straight to it, right? Let's just get straight to it. Let's just cut the bullshit, cut the short shit short. Let's talk about Sinners. That's what I'm talking about. In case you can't read, you can't see the title there. I'm talking about Sinners. The movie, directed by Ryan Coogler, and Michael B. Jordan is the obvious leading actor in the movie. He plays two different roles. He plays Smoke and Stack, two different twins, right? And I actually wanted to touch on this topic because there's so many different details and symbols and stories and different subject matter that is all meshing together in this movie that makes it such an incredible screenplay or movie, in my opinion. And with that being said, I personally just want to give an overall synopsis of how I feel about the movie, and then I want to be able to break a couple of other things down that I just personally feel I need to address. So first and foremost, let's talk about the movie itself, Sinners. Why is this movie so important? Well, first and foremost, I'll say that this is obviously an extremely important piece, and an extremely important piece of art, and an extremely important cinematic experience, because a black man, Ryan Coogler, to my knowledge, wrote the screenplay. It's an original screenplay. He directed it, and he has full ownership of it, from my understanding as well, which is just, obviously, that's big time. That is a huge power move, and it puts him well in position to continue making royalties and proceeds from this particular piece of art in perpetuity. That in itself needs to be applauded and obviously commended. So first and foremost, that's one thing. But what makes this movie so important to me, and the reason that I personally have watched it at this point, I think I could honestly say I've watched Sinners 5 times at this point. Let me know if you're the same way. Like I went and saw Sinners initially when it came out last year. I went and saw it in IMAX the weekend it came out, because it's a movie that I have been personally waiting on forever. And man, let me tell you, if you did not actually go to the theater to see Sinners, if you did not go see it in IMAX, as Ryan Coogler, he prodded people, he begged people then to go experience this in IMAX. That's exactly what I did, and it was absolutely an experience that you cannot compare to seeing it at home. Seeing it at home, yes, it's still a great movie when you're looking at it from the comfort of your home, but just the gravity of some of the scenes, especially that scene in the juke joint where they're talking about the way that music transcends the past, the present, and future. Just the way that scene felt and the way it sounded in the theater in IMAX, man, it gave me chills. Literally gave me chills in the theater watching that scene. Can't even describe it in words how amazing that scene was and how powerful it was in that theater. And also just the overall ambiance and the I don't know, just like the weight of some of the scenes and the symbolism and the imagery of the movie. It's just certain things that you have to be in a theater to experience it the right way, and that's what I did. Now, with that being said, guys, in case you've been living under a rock, Oscar nominations just came out, I want to say a couple days ago, and Sinners has actually received 16 Oscar nominations, the most ever for any movie, which is absolutely incredible, and that needs to be applauded. So we all got to clap it up for that, right? Got to clap it up for that. A black movie receiving 16 Oscar nominations. And I was I must say I was a tad bit nervous about how many Oscar nominations this movie would receive, given the fact that the Golden Globes were just a couple weeks back, and it didn't fare anywhere near as well as some people anticipated. I want to say they won one Golden Globe for biggest cinematic box office, something of that nature, as far as the way that it performed at the box office, which is great. Don't get me wrong, that's great that Sinners performed so well at the box office and they got that one Golden Globe. But I think a lot of people were hoping that Sinners was going to receive a lot more Golden Globes than they did. But with that being said, fast forward to this week, and now we see that Sinners is now nominated for 16 Oscars. 16. That's an absolutely crazy number. I would hypothesize and predict that with that many nominations, it would shock me if this movie does not win at least. What would you say conservatively, guys? I would say conservatively speaking, if a movie receives 16 nominations, just looking at history, as far as those kind of movies that receive tons of nominations, generally speaking, you're going to take home at least 6 to 8. At the very least, I would say Sinners is going to take home at least half of that number, in my opinion. Yo, what's up? We talking about Sinners. That's what we talking about. We're talking about Sinners. Once again, in case you guys were not aware, Sinners has received 16 Oscar nominations. And I want to just briefly give a synopsis of the way I felt about the movie, seeing as I never provided a review. And this movie was incredible, man. It was an incredible movie, and it was an original movie. That's the part that I love the most about it. It wasn't a copycat. It wasn't a movie that was like a reimagination of something that we've already seen before. Now, as far as there being vampires in it, yes, we've seen vampires in movies before, but it's the fact that this movie was not even really a vampire movie. And there's a lot of symbolism in the fact that the vampires themselves could loosely represent certain things in society, or at least that's one of the running that's one of those running conspiracy theories going, is that they're vampires in the movie, but they actually represent certain things in our society in regards to Black culture and things of that nature. So let's talk about the awards, guys. So obviously this movie's up for Best Picture, is up for Best Director. And here's the thing that is going to ruffle some feathers, specifically is my feelings and my thoughts about Michael B. Jordan. Michael B. Jordan, right? He played two different characters in the movie, even though in essence, if we're just keeping it a stack, he played the same damn character. He played Smoke and Stack, who were twins. And here's the thing, their personalities were not drastically different at all. So in essence, even though he did play two characters, Michael B. Jordan pretty much got to just be the same character, and he had to just do different lines from two different positions as far as the characters, what they were wearing. That part, in my opinion, is being hyped up. And to be honest, this is probably going to ruffle some feathers because I know people want Michael B. Jordan to win this Oscar for Best Actor. But just the fact that he had to perform as two different twins, like I said, once again, their personalities didn't really contrast with each other at all. Now, one was more money hungry, one was more so focused towards actually possibly looking at the fact that he didn't have that family that you could see that he actually wanted with the woman. But for the most part, as far as how those two twins behaved, how they talked, it was very similar. They sounded the same. So it's not like he did some type of incredible acting performance where he transformed and had to really dig deep and do method acting to become a character that we've never seen Michael B. Jordan be before. He had a decent, somewhat plausible Southern accent, which I kind of cringe at because obviously I'm a Southern guy myself. And if we're being real, Southern accents are probably one of the more easier accents to mimic or to impersonate. And I think he did okay. Like I said, he did okay, but nothing about Michael B. Jordan's performance in the movie jumped off the screen at any point that made me say, damn, this nigga is absolutely killing this role. Man, never at any point. And that's my biggest critique and my biggest complaint about Michael B. Jordan in total. The fact that in all of his movies, and I want to say I've seen damn near every movie Michael B. Jordan has done. He doesn't have a huge filmography. I want to say I've seen damn near every movie that Michael B. Jordan has done, all the way back from Fruitvale Station, Black Panther, the Creed movies, Just Mercy with Jamie Foxx, I've seen all of Michael B. Jordan's movies, and never has there one time been a movie that he's been in where I am actually impressed by his acting performance. Never. Never. And now, just as a disclaimer, I want to let you guys know that I am absolutely a movie buff. I'm one of those people who just sits there and absolutely digests every single detail, every nuance of a movie. I'm breaking down the actual acting performances that are being displayed on the screen. I appreciate someone who's an incredible actor. I appreciate someone who's actually transforming for a role. So much to the point that you forget the actor themselves on the screen so much that you start just thinking about the character that you're looking at. You forget that you're even looking at Denzel on the screen. You forget that you're even looking at Leonardo. You forget that you're even looking at Tom Hanks on Castaway or Philadelphia. You forget the actor, and you're so invested in what you're actually seeing on the screen because they're doing such a great job of acting. Never once have I felt that way about Michael B. Jordan. And unfortunately, even though people are hyping it, I feel the exact same way about his performance in Sinners. It was decent. It was okay. But don't let the fact that he was playing two different characters, supposedly, even though, like I said, they were pretty much the exact same character. They just happened to be wearing two different articles of clothing because they sounded the same, they talked the same, and for the most part, they act the same. So we know that they were twins. But was there anything about that performance that we saw from Michael B. Jordan that would somehow warrant him winning Best Actor, as if he did some type of phenomenal job of acting in the movie? No, unfortunately not. But you know what's ironic is the fact that there was someone on this very movie who did an absolutely extraordinary job and who absolutely jumped off the screen with their acting ability. And that was Delroy Lindo. And to my knowledge, he is also nominated. I'm guessing he's nominated for Best Supporting Actor. But and obviously that makes sense seeing as he wasn't the lead. But his acting ability absolutely was 3D. It jumped off the screen. Everything that Michael B. Jordan does, and this is, once again, I'm not trying to be negative towards Michael B. Jordan. I like Michael B. Jordan. It's just that he's never impressive as an actor. That's the thing. He seems like a cool dude. His acting is decent, but at no point on anything he's ever been on that I have witnessed and that I've consumed, never once has Michael B. Jordan's acting been 3D to me. It's always been extremely two-dimensional. It's been decent. It's been passable. It's been serviceable, but his acting ability leaves a lot to be desired. And I still feel the exact same way after seeing his performance in Sinners. It was good. It was good. It did not bring the movie down. Like I said, he's not going to bring the movie down with his acting, but he's also not going to ever stand out as far as being that person who you always go back to saying, damn, man, his performance in that movie was absolutely sensational. Never once has Michael B. Jordan made me say, damn, bro, he is absolutely killing this performance, this role. No, he just does not do that. And if you're being real about it, he never does. Now, I understand that the ladies like Michael B. Jordan. I get that. But let's separate that from his actual acting ability. Does he really deserve to win Best Actor for what we saw in this movie? Hell no. That's just the fact, whether you like it or not. Now, as far as Delroy Lindo, his performance was absolutely incredible, and he does deserve an Oscar for his performance as, what was it, Delta Slim? Delta Slim had one of the most powerful, I mean, in my opinion, all right, in my opinion, right, when we're talking about awards being given to a movie or to actors in a movie, it should all come down to how they made you feel. How powerful was their performance? Or what scenes in that movie do you constantly think of? What scenes in a movie do you constantly go back to? There is not one scene I could think of, and I've seen the movie 5 times, but there's not one scene in this entire movie that I can think of that was extremely powerful being delivered by Michael B. Jordan. He had a whole bunch of scenes, but none of them were extremely powerful. Nothing stuck with us that he did. However, when we're talking about powerful scenes, transcendent scenes, whether it be what's being spoken or the symbolism that's being stated, there's 2 of those scenes in this movie that are absolutely incredible. The first scene was in the juke joint when they're talking about the transcendence of music from the past to the present to the future. That scene, like I said, at IMAX, experiencing that movie in the theater, and that scene specifically, it gave me chills. What a powerful scene. The second scene that made me feel that exact same way was when they were all riding back from the cotton field, and Delroy Lindo was in the front seat, and he was talking about that story. He was giving that story about the man with his friend who had gotten the money, squandered the money. The white man lied on him, and his friend got lynched. What a powerful scene. What a realistic scene. What a very fitting scene, and also yet a very powerful way of weaving in things that Black people had to deal with. You know, even back in this time, this is a period piece, obviously, but just that story, the way he told it, the acting, once again, we're going back to his actual acting ability, the way he delivered that scene, the way that he ad-libbed, because I was looking at, further commentary about the movie from Ryan Coogler and different people. There's certain things in that scene that he ad-libbed. You know why he did that? Because he's an incredible actor. That's what amazing actors do. Sometimes they go off script because they just feel it. They know what needs to be done, what needs to be said to pull the scene off, to make it feel authentic. That's what Delroy Lindo did in that scene where they're riding in that car and he's talking about this man who got money. That they both got money together, but his other guy, got caught in the wrong situation, wrong place, wrong time, got lied on by a white man, and it cost him his life. The way he delivered that scene gave me chills. That's what incredible acting does. Michael B. Jordan, unfortunately, never gives me that feeling. Everything he does just comes across as extremely vanilla, extremely two-dimensional, in my opinion. This is just my opinion. Like I said, you may disagree, but anyone who is actually a movie buff, who's really into the actual art and actually into people who deliver amazing performances on the screen, I think most of you will agree that Michael B. Jordan, when it comes to acting ability, he's somewhere in that C level. Not bad, but also not amazing, not exceptional in any way. But let's talk about the movie itself. The direction and the screenplay itself. The direction from Ryan Coogler. Chef's kiss. Chef's kiss. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. He did an amazing job of directing this movie. Like I said, once again, the symbolism, the imagery, the intelligent way of telling a story that's original, keeping us engaged as viewers. He did an absolutely phenomenal job. So I absolutely feel that he is very deserving of Best Director. He's absolutely deserving of Best Movie, Best Picture at the Oscars. He's absolutely deserving of that. But as far as Best Actor, Michael B. Jordan, unfortunately, I don't want to come across as being negative or trying to throw dirt on Michael B. Jordan as, a performer, but I'm just keeping it real. As an actor, he's just not that great. I don't care about the fact that he played two twins. That should not all of a sudden make us forget that what we're looking at on the screen from an acting standpoint was still, it was okay in regards to his acting. But we've seen some people in the past play twins and they did it at a much higher level. Let's think back to maybe Tom Hardy in that movie where he was two twins. That performance he handed in on that movie, I can't remember the name of it. That was incredible. But Tom Hardy is an exceptional actor. Michael B. Jordan, I like the guy. He's cool dude. But as an actor, his ability is extremely lackluster. Let's just say that. Anyways, don't want to beat a dead horse, but let's just say that I do not feel that Michael B. Jordan is deserving of the Best Actor Oscar. Delroy Lindo is absolutely deserving of Best Supporting Actor, if that's what he was nominated for. And I do believe that is what Delroy Lindo was nominated for, Best Supporting Actor. And he turned in perhaps, one of the better performances of his entire career. And that's saying a lot because Delroy Lindo has had many classic roles over his expansive acting career, going all the way back to, one of the more memorable ones, in my opinion, is back in Malcolm X, any of you guys seen Malcolm X early 90s, Denzel Washington. So, oh, that brings me to another point. You know, Ryan Coogler and Michael B. Jordan have had, at this point, a track record of working together. You know, it seemed like in some ways they were trying to, well, not necessarily trying to, but it seemed like people were going to start comparing them to Denzel and Spike Lee, the way that Denzel and Spike Lee have so many movies where they've worked together as director and lead actor. And Ryan Coogler and Michael B. Jordan are well on their way to doing the exact same thing. But here's the thing, and here's the rub in regards to that. Ryan Coogler, in my humble opinion, is a superior director to Spike Lee. And I know some people are gonna think back to Spike Lee's heyday, and they're gonna look at this as being sacrilegious. What do you mean? But it's just how I feel. He's still obviously still building his superstardom right now, but right now he's well on his way to becoming one of the most respected and one of the most sought after directors in all of Hollywood. He's already well on his way to being that. But with that being said, in regards to Michael B. Jordan being compared to Denzel Washington, he's a far inferior actor. When you compare Michael B. Jordan to Denzel Washington, Michael B. Jordan can't even begin to stack up to where Denzel Washington was at that same age from an acting ability standpoint. They're literally in two different leagues altogether. Denzel has been an incredible actor for as long as we can remember. I've never seen Denzel give his absolute A game and not come away from that project or that movie thinking, God damn, that was an amazing performance. I mean, let's think about it. I mean, early 90s Denzel, whether you're talking about Philadelphia, once again, with him and Tom Hanks, two incredible actors on one movie. You got Malcolm X. You got, what else did Denzel do back in the 90s? That's when he really started going on a run, right? I don't know why I'm drawing a blank. Crimson Tide. So many movies Denzel did in the 90s where he was really crossing that threshold from being a star to absolute mega star. But anyways, just drawing comparisons. So when you have the tandem of Ryan Coogler and Michael B. Jordan, it kind of levels out, because I think Ryan Coogler is a superior director to Spike Lee, in my opinion. However, actually, it doesn't level up, because Denzel Washington is a far better actor than Michael B. Jordan. So I guess the Spike Lee Denzel tandem still wins in the long run. Anyways, I didn't mean to make this so long-winded, but I just wanted to give my thoughts about this movie. And let's get to the entire topic of the video itself. Was the movie itself really that good to be garnering 16 Oscar nominations? Yes, it was actually that damn good. This is one of the best movies I have seen in recent memory. Not just from it, not just from the plot being interesting and original, but just from the fact that it makes you want to go back and actually watch it again. And I think that is the test of a great movie. Is it something that you are just going to watch once and say, okay, that was cool, but never go back to it? Or is it one of those movies that is actually entertaining and compelling enough to make you want to go fire it back up again and watch the entire thing all the way through? And that's exactly what Sinners is. Sinners is that good of a damn movie. I have literally watched this movie 5 times at this point, and shit, who knows? I might go watch it again, just to see if there's anything that I missed from a symbolism or imagery standpoint. It's that damn good. It really is. So I think that it is absolutely deserving of all of these Oscar nominations, and I really do hope that, at the very least, I hope that Ryan Coogler wins Best Director, and I hope this movie wins Best Picture, because I think it is deserving of both of those awards. Michael B. Jordan, no way, no fucking how does he deserve Best Actor. Because he can't, because let's just be real. He's a decent actor. He's decent. His performance in this movie wasn't incredible. His performance. I think that's what happens though. I think people are I think they're allowing the fact that he played 2 different characters, even though the characters had the exact same personality. They're allowing that to skew their perception of just how good of an acting job he did. His acting in the movie was decent. It was serviceable. But he got overshadowed by several other people from an acting standpoint in this movie. Shit, even that dude who played the lead vampire did a much better job of acting than Michael B. Jordan. And don't even get me started on how phenomenal Delroy Lindo's performance was. Absolutely incredible in every way. Anyways, I don't want to dogpile and keep being negative towards Michael B. Jordan because I do like him as a person. I'm just extremely underwhelmed by his acting ability on screen constantly. Anyways, I think I'll leave it at that, guys. Just wanted to briefly touch base about this movie and now about all the Oscar nominations that it has received. And it is extremely deserving. Absolutely phenomenal movie. One of the best movies we've seen in the last few years for sure. And what's tricky is that, you know, this is obviously the most nominations any movie has ever received. So does that mean by an extension of that this is the best black movie ever? No, it's not. Let's not have recency bias, guys. This was an outstanding movie. Outstanding. But is this the best black movie ever? No, not by any stretch of the imagination. So that's why you can't allow awards to have but so much. You can't allow awards to skew your perception as far as what you give weight to, what you give credence to. Because while this was a great movie, it's not even in the top 5 best black movies ever. No. But depending on how it fares at the Oscars, it is going to have a monumental impact on future black movies, future black directors and actors becoming more and more powerful in Hollywood. So it's extremely important that this performs well at the Oscars. And I truly do hope that this movie wins all the awards, even though we know that won't happen, but I'm hoping it wins a ton. More importantly, I'm hoping that it wins the most important of those awards, being the most important, which is Best Picture. I want Best Picture and Best Director to go to this movie. That is my hope for the Oscars. What's yours? Let me know your thoughts about this movie. Let me know if you feel like this movie deserves all the praise and nominations that it's receiving, or do you think it's overrated? Join the conversation, all right? This is your man, Thatcher Great. I'll holla. Peace.